Welcome to the Deliberate Leaders podcast with Emerging Talent. I'm your host, Anna. On this podcast, we connect with professionals in their 20s and 30s to gain insight into their journeys, aspirations, and motivations. I'm excited to introduce to you Shareya Holm with My July 27. Hi, Shareya.
Hey, Anna. Thanks for having me on here.
Of course. Okay, so the first question, help me understand your career journey.
Oh, man. Okay. So it's a little discombobulated, but I started working in the restaurant industry when I was just about to turn 16, knowing, if I want to afford a car and want to be able to go to college one day, you have to work and save up money. So I started there and gradually took on another job as an accounting assistant. And I quickly learned that neither was what I wanted to do with my life. It was great in the short term, and I learned a lot of really good skills, but it wasn't what I wanted to make my life's work. So I started looking into different college opportunities and what could I afford. And if you're at all familiar with like the Dave Ramsey world, I had this mindset that I can't go into debt for this. It has to be completely cash paid, which makes college really, really difficult. So I looked around at different options and found this college in Chicago that would have been about 10 grand a year and thought, okay, I can work my way through it. I can do it. And then I can pursue what I really want to, which was both music. I had played classical guitar and sung for years and just really wanted to develop into a professional musician, as well as career counseling. Since I was little, I really enjoyed hearing my friends. I enjoyed when they'd come and confide in me and be able to like keep their secrets and try to help motivate them. And I thought, couldn't I do this as a job? This would be great. So I got all enrolled and did all the fun audition process and got accepted to their music program and was set to move to Chicago. However, the man that I believed to be the absolute love of my life ended up proposing to me. And I thought, this trumps all of my professional career goals. I want to be a mom. I want to be a wife. Family life is my dream. And so I very quickly withdrew my enrollment and thought, I am more than happy to make him basically my life goal. I'm more than happy to plant my roots and become a family. Yeah. So I moved to Central California, where he had a stable job at a church, and just kind of immersed myself into that community there and got a job at a sandwich shop to have some form of income. Started online classes to pursue an associate's degree, thinking I need to at least, move forward. Yeah, do something. So I really started to settle in there. And then 6 months into being engaged, once we had, the dress and the venue and save the dates and all the stuff you need, he came to me and said, I don't know if I love you. And at the time, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I just kind of went, it's cold feet, right? Cold feet it's a thing. But it wasn't. It ended up basically snowballing into this horrible, dramatic couple of months where at the end of it all, I ended up moving back in with my parents, and he just said, it's over. You're free to go see other people. Don't count on me. And I was absolutely shattered. I thought every fiber of my being believed that he was the person I would spend my life with. And I had no concept for understanding how he couldn't be on the same page. So not only did it throw off my life plans and throw me into depression for the first real time in my life, but it also really shook my faith, and my faith was really important to me. So it really launched me into this year of depression and wrestling with my faith and with all these beliefs that I had about life. So now to summarize that all, I was back in Idaho living with my parents. I ended up getting a job as a delivery organic food delivery person, in order to have an introverted job where I could process. And it was the perfect match for being in a season of healing. So I ended up working there several years, really enjoyed it, and ended up getting to grieve and heal and eventually have a beautiful redemption story with my now husband, who Anna actually met before I did, which is kind of fun. But we got married and ended up getting pregnant, losing a baby, which was a really hard first experience with parenthood. Um, got pregnant again, COVID hit at the same time, and then um, as you know, as COVID affected everyone's jobs, it affected mine. I ended up losing my job, and I thought, I need something I can do as a mother. I need to be able to have either a passion project, a like stream of income. It doesn't have to be a lot, but something. And so I started looking into what I could do and ended up starting down this path of wedding planning. I ended up getting certified as a wedding planner. But then I watched COVID wreak havoc on the wedding industry and thought, huh, that might not be the best choice. And so I just kind of sat with all of this uh, content that I learned over the last year and all these newly inspired, like self-confident entrepreneurial ideas, and thought, I don't know what's going to come of this, but I don't know. I've done the research and we'll see what God does, what life inspires. Um, and then oh man, timelines. It's been a blur. I've since had 2 children and I'm now pregnant with another. So life's a blur of motherhood right now. But it was right after I'd given birth a second time, um, that I was really just fixated on um, this friend who had lost, she ended up losing 6 children in a row, 6 different miscarriages. And I sat there one night, late at night, thinking, what do I do? How do I show up? I know what it is to be a griever. I've spent a year of my life in a deep grief. I've grieved again when I lost a child. How do you be there for someone? And I don't know how to explain it, but I immediately just had this mental picture of all the footprints of her family up on a canvas. And it was her husband's footprint, her 2 living daughters. And then at the time, she had 4 miscarriages, not the full 6. And so it was 4 perfectly sized, tiny footprints. And it kind of looked like, a ... and et cetera. And it was stunning. It was just this incredible mental image. And I just thought, I have to make that exist. And with very little experience in the online sales world, I just launched into it. And that became what is My July 27. So now I've run this business for a little over a year, and it is so beautiful. It's been a beautiful process. It's a learning curve. I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing half the time, but that's my long-winded career journey.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
incredible that you like I mean, from knowing you from working in the restaurant industry, you would have never guessed that you were like going through all of that. Like
Mm,
you you grieve really well, and I feel like the times that we talked, you're like, I'm going to be an introvert and deal with this. It was very beautiful, and it's hard to be the one that has the grief story, but I think you've like honored it well. And then to have My July 27th or 27.
27. Simpler to say
Okay.
it that way.
Yeah, to have that and still like honor that grief. And then what a better person to be alongside other people that are grieving, with this business that you have. So that's very cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna.
um, um, Kind of like you've shifted a lot, you've grieved a lot. How would you define success inside of your career?
Hmm. I'd say it's threefold. I mean, you have the first, every career is defined by financial success to a degree. So I'd love to say that that doesn't matter, but it does matter. So I think being able to provide in a, uh, in a small way or a big way, my husband and I chat about, how much is important right now. But financially is one measure of success. But I think far more important to me is it fulfilling a need for other people? Which time and time again, even if it's not through sales, if it's just through Instagram messages, it's been so rewarding to get to hear other people say, I've had this loss. I had no idea what to do with this pain. And then I stumbled across your page and now I get to talk to you. Thank you. So that alone has been so worthwhile for me. And then I guess the third aspect of that would be it's bringing me joy. It's fulfilling to get to see something that could have just destroyed your life suddenly be something that's used for good and as a vehicle of connecting with other people. So
Yeah, the counseling full circle, right?
yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yes. By chance, do you have a mentor?
Oh, I've wrestled with this question because I don't, but I do in the sense that I have a lot of really wise people who relationally I'm in community with and who I can go to for different answers and advice. So I feel like I have a network of people who pour into my life, but I wouldn't say I just have one dedicated mentor.
Yeah. Is that something you see value in pursuing at some point, or is your community fulfilling that for you now?
That's a good question. I think it's something I see value in pursuing, but it would be highly important to me that it be someone who understands this space of grief related to pregnancy loss. And I haven't found someone, at least locally yet, who I've connected well with that would be a good mentor and understand the sales aspect and the business aspect. So taking applications.
Yeah.
If you hear this and you think you'd be a great mentor, contact me.
I love that. How are you prioritizing growth for My July 27?
It has been a process. I think ultimately it's been taking really little actionable steps as consistently as possible. I feel like I tend to have these really grandiose directions and ideas. And then, given that I'm currently mothering a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, there's just no bandwidth to just launch into that and pursue it. So it's been balancing my first priority of pouring into my kids and then saying it's nap time or it's bedtime and I have an hour here. I can quickly refresh my website or I can quickly work toward this or contact the supplier. So it's been little steps at a time working toward big goals.
Yeah. And we recently chatted like a week ago or something, and you showed me your laptop and you had tabs open of all of the education stuff that you needed to learn in order to understand the social media aspect of the selling. How has that been with having kids as well?
Honestly, that's been the easiest part. It is so much easier to turn on your phone and listen to a podcast or listen to a lot of them are essentially Zoom meetings that are free. And then at the end, they want to sell you a course. And some of them are worthwhile. Some of them you can just really glean a lot of helpful info and then say, I don't have the money for the end product, but thank you for sharing. I'd say that learning consistently has been, I think, one of the most enjoyable and easiest parts of it all. It's a lot easier to, listen as I mother than it is to be, sitting here at a computer typing and editing things. So,
Yeah, tell me about the tension that I'm sure that you have trying to help grieving mothers through My July 27th, and then also having these kids. Like, I imagine all of you wants to love these grieving mothers and like pour into them, but then you have these kids that you also want to pour into. Like, that seems really stretching.
Yes, I agree. I'm still learning what the balance looks like. I grew up with a mother working from home, and so I'd say that's my normal. My default mode is to know that, kind of what that looks like and what the expectations are. But I also heard my whole life her say, if you have the chance to be a stay-at-home mom, you take it. Like, don't work if you don't have to. And so learning the balance of, here is how I was mothered, here's how she would wish to mother me if she could have, is a really interesting thing to, I guess, try to learn from. So I think a lot of it has been, um, I guess it's knowing I don't want to put my kids in front of a screen so that I can go do my own job. And so with limited resources, not having a ton of childcare help, it's been really learning to take advantage of the times when my kids are watched or when they are sleeping or when they're, completely absorbed with playing outside in the backyard in the summer. So it's catching those moments where I'm not having to mentally check out of motherhood to work on my business and be attentive to other people's needs.
Yeah, and prioritizing which social media or like sales platform you want to like dedicate time because you don't have the full 8 hours to give to everything, right?
Exactly. Yes, your help last week on that was amazing. We went through and it's like you might not have time for LinkedIn and for Facebook and for this and for that. Maybe just focus on like two of them.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah.
good to recognize though, right? Like if you're going to prioritize motherhood but still want to see this grow, like what is the most fruitful thing to be devoting your time to?
Absolutely, yes.
How have you handled moments of doubt or uncertainty as you're trying to grow this?
Hmm. Um, Lots of prayer. That I think that's been my main go-to. And a lot of it has looked like literally just falling down and being like, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. Something's got to give. And, that's tends to be when someone comes along and offers so much encouragement, or it's when a mother shoots me a message online and tells me how encouraging the page was, or I suddenly see that there was a sale. And so it's, yeah, I'd say prayer is my go-to. And honestly, caffeine. Caffeine's great. It really helps with confidence and motivation and not being fatigued. So,
Yeah. Has your husband helped you in the encouragement side of things?
yes. So, are you Enneagram, like personality typing? A
Say
little
that
bit.
again. Sorry.
Oh, are you familiar with the Enneagram? It's
Oh,
one of the
yes.
many personality typing things out there. So, for those who are familiar, I'm a type 9, which is a like avoid conflict at all costs, tends to be kind of lazy and sloth like. And my husband is the opposite. He's a 3, which is like go getter, do all the things, never rest, never quit. And so I feel like we both inspire each other a lot. So when I get down and I start to kind of introvert and want to sit on the couch and say it hurts to go out there and try to do things, you encounter pain, he'll be like, no, you can do this, you've got this, you have an amazing idea. But then vice versa, when he is struggling, I'm able to say, you know what, let's press pause on this house project or on whatever it is you're doing, let's just sit and rest and talk. And so yeah, I he's a really, really good life partner. We
Yeah.
make a good team.
That's what I heard. Are there any career related goals or aspirations that you've been hesitant to pursue?
Yes. Um, when you were over, I showed you I've been working on a line of um, custom made 3D printed rings, and I so badly want to pursue them. Like it's one of those things where once you start with the idea and get into the creation stage, like I can see the end and I can see how amazing they're going to be. But financially, I don't have the money to invest in this product line right now. And so I've been hesitant on how much how much time, energy, but especially how much finances can we spare to invest in a business that isn't yet. I mean, we're not even at that 2 year mark. We're not making profit yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, the hesitancy is I see these beautiful aspirations and great fun ideas and we can't do it yet. So
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, right, and all the things, there's like the beauty in waiting and really getting to solidify that idea so that when the opportunity presents itself, you're like, here it is, fully done.
yes, it's
Yeah.
ready, it's actionable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully that's encouragement.
Thank you. Yeah.
Moving through, we're going to do a rapid fire. So the first thing that comes to your mind, and then we'll move on to the next question.
All right.
What is your go-to source of inspiration when you need to refocus and motivate yourself as a leader?
I repeat myself. Jesus and coffee.
Yeah.
It's super cliche, but it's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about getting the caffeine kick, which is debatably good for you or not good for you. Um, but really just pursuing faith and guidance and seeking something bigger than yourself to be your motivation. I believe that's very powerful and a very important thing.
Yeah. What's one self-development practice that you swear by, and how has it helped your leadership journey?
Ooh, I think always being a student, just continuing to learn. I continue to think I'm at this point where I've arrived and I suddenly know all that I need to know about SEO or about Instagram strategies. And then when I go into my next little bout of listening to someone else, I suddenly realize, oh, that's outdated, or this needs to be paired with this. And I think there's just so much value in always humbly learning and knowing you haven't arrived and you don't know everything.
Yes. If you could develop any leadership trait overnight, what would it be?
I think a natural confidence. I think everyone struggles with confidence to a degree. Um, but yeah, to just know this is a great idea, I'm doing the right thing, and feel that all the time without doubt or hesitancy, that sounds amazing. But then again, I don't know if that would actually make you a good leader. So,
Confident?
I mean, confidence does, but I mean, yeah, a greater measure of confidence would be lovely.
Yeah.
All the confidence makes you, a
Oh,
prideful
yeah, 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 yeah.
narcissist, though. So, yeah,
I see what you're saying.
yeah.
What's one book or resource that has had a profound impact on your leadership style?
Hmm. I'd say there's a book called How We Love by Milan. I think it's Milan and K. Yerkovich.
Yes.
Um, that was hugely impactful for me. Learning how your childhood has affected your personality and how you kind of cope with life. Um, that combined with just generic personality tests like Myers-Briggs and the Enneagram, I feel like I've learned so much about myself, both my weaknesses and my strengths, and that has helped me so much to know I really struggle in this area. This is what I need to work on really extra, or this is something that is a strength and I can own that and be okay with that and not feel bad about that. So,
Yeah. How We Love is a marriage book, but it's so much more. Like, yeah, there's a
oh,
lot of
good.
marriage relationship advice, but it's good just as an awareness thing.
Yes, agreed.
So thank you so much, Shareya, for taking the time to be on this podcast and share about your career journey and how you've gotten here and where you are going. If someone has absolutely resonated with something that you've said and are looking for a coffee chat or short-term mentorship, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
Ooh, the best way to get a hold of me would be via email. You could reach me at owner@myjuly27.com. And that's myjuly27, no th.com.
Gotcha. Perfect. Again, thank you for sharing your insights. For our listeners, this is a Spotify exclusive podcast, so if you enjoy the content, please subscribe and follow this channel. If you know someone who can benefit from hearing this message, send it their way too. And you can find Deliberate Directions on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and locally in Boise, Idaho. Thank you for listening.